we're gonna discuss how I feel about just the categories in general, which we talked about this last year as well, and we're gonna do it again. But so best RPG. For the best
Mm.
game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. I have thoughts about this category
What
as
are
a
your
whole,
thoughts?
and it's that I don't necessarily think certain. I think the RPG category should be split into two:
I agree.
turn-based and action, because it would be. It's not on this list, but if it, there's a chance that it could have been, and that is we could have seen like Dragon Quest HD 2D remake alongside like Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, which is on here, which those are like
Which
two very different games.
different games.
I don't think all RPGs should be lumped into one category because
And
RPGs
also,
can be
Shadow of the Erdtree shouldn't
so
even be on
so
there.
drastically different. I disagree.
Honestly,
There should just be a DLC category.
a DLC category. That's my thing.
It should be a
right?
DLC
'Cause
category.
It's like I get that it's a massive DLC, and I get
It
that
is like
adds so
to
much new
the
content.
point that is damn near a second game.
Right, but the thing is, it's not. It's a DLC.
You're right.
It should be in its own category.
And I agree.
That's not fair.
There should be a DLC category. There's no reason why this should. It's weird. There should be a DLC category.
Yeah.
But we have Dragon's Dogma 2, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, and Metaphor Refantasia. I, of course, voted for the game that took up like 3 months of my life. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Real?
Good game. You know, lost some steam towards the end, but I still like it. Real good game. I'll have to get back to it eventually because I still got some side quests to do. But yeah, moving on to best action adventure. Again, these next two categories, strange. It's weird. Why is there a best action and a best action adventure category? Why not just call it?
Yeah.
Why not just call it best adventure? Why action adventure? So the description is for the best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. No, just no. Here's what I suggest. I suggest that. So you know what? Let me just get into it. I'm gonna read a quote that I literally read last year, and it is from at Rockefeller 360 under GameSpot video game awards categories are broken. So they said,
Okay.
Awards should focus more on game elements instead of games as a whole. For example, like the already existing best sound design or best art direction. Instead of having best action genre, have best action gameplay. Instead of best RPG game, have best RPG integration, etc. That way, games don't have to be tied down and defined as a single genre, and we instead can celebrate which studios accomplished certain gameplay aspects the best. Also, best ongoing game would be better as best evolved game, celebrating which game developed the most in the past year instead of which game as a service is generically the best. I agree with that last one especially, and they said that because last year, Cyberpunk 2077 was in there. It was in that category beside like Fortnite and No Man's Sky and games like that, which Cyberpunk 2077 is just a single player game that had an expansion, but they put it in that category because it had such a significant leap in quality over the 3 years after it originally came out. So it definitely deserved to be there, but like the naming and description of the category needs to be adjusted to allow for games like that to be there.
Without seeming weird.
Yeah, because as the category currently is described, it doesn't necessarily fit. But yeah, I think that like genres they blend together way too much for us to be separating them by genre. Like the only ones that I think still should be separated are like, you know, sports and like first person shooters. But like third person action games like blend with so much different stuff like platforming and puzzle solving and all that stuff. Like Uncharted could be in this category. You know what's in this category? This category is weird as hell. The Legends of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Star Wars Outlaws, Silent Hill 2,
what the hell?
Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, and Astrobot. Huh?
Like, okay.
Why is
I understand
Silent Hill,
most of them,
Star Wars Outlaw, and Astrobot in the same category? Those are three very different games.
Silent Hill, especially, because like
there's not a horror category.
There should be.
There should be a horror category. Horror games come out every year.
Right. right.
There should be a horror category. There should be a horror category so that games like Silent Hill 2 aren't in this category. I think there enough open world games come out for there to just straight up be an open world category, which Star Wars Outlaws should be in the open world category. There should be a platformer category because enough platformers come out every year to warrant that being a category. And action game can say what it is, the description of action game. I voted Astrobot because I think that's the only of these games that I played. But and Astrobot just deserves all the awards. But for best action game, the description very simple and it makes sense. My problem is I don't necessarily think one of these games should be. Nope, two of these games should be here. So for best game in action genre focused primarily on combat. Here's why I think it should be different. I think it should focus on games that either mix or have melee and shooting, and that shooters should be separate. Because
agreed.
On this list, we have Warhammer 40k mixes melee and shooting. I've played the first one. The first one is very much a mix of both. Makes sense. Stellar Blade, it's a Souls-like. Makes sense. It advertised itself like it was like a Bayonetta, Devil May Cry. It's not. It is a Souls-like. Do not be tricked. I was so sad when I played the demo and I did not like the combat. Black Myth Wukong, Souls-like. Makes sense. It's an action game. Call of Duty Black Ops 6. No. That's a shooter. Get it out of here. Helldivers 2. No. That's a shooter. Get out of here. There should be a not first person shooter category, but a just shooter category. Because shooters can be third person. So there should be a shooter category that's separate. So you can have Helldivers, Call of Duty, Doom, various other shooters in that category. But because I think it should be separated between shooters and character action. Because character action is very different from a shooter. Character action can involve a little bit of shooting, but it's usually a mix of stuff.
It's not, yeah.
It's usually melee focused. I voted for Helldivers because
that's real.
The only one I played here was Black Ops 6, but I feel like Helldivers deserves it. Black Myth Wukong is probably going to win it though.
Yeah, probably.
Even though the devs apparently are very sexist and kind of suck.